Welcome to Gentoo. I'm Mackenzie Doherty, and this is your source for all things nerd culture. Let's start things off with this week's up-and-coming release. I say release because there's only one. Forza Motorsport 7 is a racing video game. It will feature over 700 cars and more than 200 different configurations to race on across 32 locations at launch, including all of them from Forza 6. A fictional street circuit in Dubai is one of the new circuits, and several tracks returned from Forza 4, including Maple Valley Raceway, Mugello Circuit, and Suzuka Circuit. Dynamic weather, previously featured in the Horizon games, will be making a return, as well as the introduction of customizable drivers. This game and many more will be released throughout the month, so be sure to keep an eye out for them. Up next, check out what happened with.
Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel, and today we're talking about what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda is the fourth installation in the Mass Effect series made by BioWare, published by EA. It was released in March 2017. The game has you playing as Ryder, an explorer who has been tasked to help settle parts of the Andromeda galaxy. So what went wrong with Andromeda? Andromeda had some issues on launch with some pretty major glitches. Faces getting stuck in a weird position, guns being held backwards, players being trapped by invisible walls. These led to lackluster reviews, and players began to make a joke out of the game. The reason why people were really upset about the game being the way it was is because they had really high expectations of BioWare and Mass Effect. People wanted the game to be as good as the other games in the series while offering a new, exciting experience. But what they wanted, they didn't really get. Is Andromeda really a bad game? No, not really. It has fun, fast-paced combat mixed with great explorations of massive open maps. One of the cool things that Andromeda did is it shifted the theme of Mass Effect from, oh my gosh, the world is ending, everything is crashing down around us, to, hey guys, let's explore a new world and help settle this place, and let's have fun and adventure and learn new things. Andromeda did not feel like the same Mass Effect that we had before, and that wasn't really a bad thing. Andromeda took this idea of exploration and ran with it. You became a pioneer. You were literally going and settling out west. There wasn't the same government that you had from the previous games bugging you all the time. There wasn't the rules and regulations that you had to play by in the previous games. No, you were in the Wild West, you were on your own. And the game does a really good job of making you feel that. But people didn't want that. People wanted the same Mass Effect in a new location. That's what they really wanted. Combined with the glitches, it basically became a death sentence for the game. So what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda? The game had a really rough launch with major glitches that led to bad reviews and the game becoming a meme. That really led to the failure of Andromeda itself. After the last couple of updates, the game basically became pretty good. It was a pretty standard game. The game affected the whole franchise in such a massive way that EA put the whole series on hiatus. We don't know when the next Mass Effect's coming out. And that is pretty scary for a fan of Mass Effect. So that's a very brief explanation of what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. It's actually a pretty interesting story if you go and look it up yourself, so I recommend that. I'm Nathaniel Cochran, and you're watching Gentoo.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Valve recently removed nearly 200 shovelware games from its library. These games, produced using mostly the pre-made assets included in Unity, are what Valve refers to as fake games. Poorly received by players and usually as short and simple as possible, these products are churned out in the interest of using Steam as a money printing machine. By manipulating the trading card system and producing a large amount of low price point games, these developers can make money without any actual following or dev team. We're not interested in supporting trading card farming or bot networks at the expense of being able to provide value and service for players, Valve told Polygon in August. We will continue after some commercials, but first, here's Insight on Esports.
This is Insight on Esports, and I'm Sean Nino. First, we're going to talk about League of Legends, and I'm going to teach you the basics of gameplay. In pro play, the game is very different than if you and I played with some friends. 5 versus 5 gameplay is the core of multiplayer online battle arenas, or MOBAs. Each player chooses a champion from a pool of 137 and goes into a lane or position they have picked, like top, mid, bottom, jungle, or support. You battle either 2v2 or 1 versus 1 in a lane, and you and your team focus on beating the other team to secure objectives like towers, inhibitors, dragons, and the biggest one of them all, Baron Nashor. The big difference between casual and pro play is one, how good the players are and the tempo of gameplay. Pros have to be calculated and try not to mess up. You and I can mess around all we want. The 2017 League of Legends World Championship is going on. This past week wrapped up play-ins and 4 teams locked in their spot.
They've been touted as the #1 team in China, and honestly right now, they look absolutely stunning. Xie grabs a kill, Venus is dead, celebratory frags coming in for Team WE is the Nexus, the last to fall.
Team World Elite swept Young Generation 3-0, and they will join Group D with Team Solo Mid, Flash Wolves, and Misfit Gaming.
Absolute gets taken down, and Team 1 get destroyed by Fenerbahce.
1907 Fenerbahce with a fantastic overall final game will take them to the top 16.
Joining Group C is 1907 Fenerbahce Esports. They beat Team 1 Esports 3-1 and will join Samsung Galaxy, G2 Esports, and Royal Never Give Up.
And Fnatic are looking to put this one away. Caps goes golden, and he has got a big smile on his face, no doubt, as Fnatic looking for the final fight. Desperate finish here for Hong Kong Attitude, but it is 1, 2, 3, the coup de grace, and Fnatic are moving on.
Longtime European powerhouse and former Worlds winner Fnatic defeated Hong Kong Attitude 3-0. Fnatic will be in Group B with Longzhu Gaming, Immortals, and Gigabyte Marines.
Cai também, double kill nas mãos do Sneak, triple kill Sneak, Ace Cloud9!
My favorite team, Cloud9, earned a 3-0 victory over Lion Gaming. Cloud9 gets Group A with Edward Gaming, AHQ Esports Club, and reigning world champions SK Telecom T1. In Counter-Strike Global Offensive news, the World Esports Association had to amend their transfer regulations from only allowing teams 2 player transfers in a season to include a clause allowing a third emergency exchange following the sudden removal of Baida Giuseppe, Henrique Telles, and Lucas Telles, with their subsequent departure from Immortals' starting roster. You've been watching Inside on Esports. I'm Sean Nino. Let's now send it back to Gentoo.
Welcome back to Gentoo. I'm your host, Mackenzie Doherty, and you just saw Insight on Esports. Now it's time for NWIRL, where we'll take a look at some of the nerd culture right here in Maryville.
Hello and welcome to NWIRL. I'm Justin Wood, and this is the show where we meet you, the nerds, right here on Northwest Campus. Let's jump right in to meet this week's featured nerd.
Hey, I'm Philip Kendall, and I'm a junior here at Northwest. In Humans vs. Zombies, or HVZ, I'm the vice president, but I also try and interact with other clubs as much as I can. So it's basically like a week-long game of tag, where there's 2 teams, humans and zombies, and the humans are just trying to survive through the week, and the zombies are trying to tag all of the humans and increase the horde until there's no one left. Okay, so on campus, we use things like rolled up socks, stuffed animals, or we can actually throw like Nerf darts at people. Humans need to throw things to stun zombies. Zombies only can tag. And we also use orange bandanas. Humans wear these on their arms, and zombies wear them on their heads. And off campus, we can actually use Nerf blasters, which is really awesome. I wish we could use them on campus, but they are completely banned from everywhere. It lasts for 1 week or 6 days, and we do stuff every night of the game. Every day we have 1 or 2 missions where we all gather up into one group and we complete an objective, and it's just a lot of fun. People that like wear costumes, like one guy one year wore a ghillie suit while he was playing. But you can take it as serious as you want. Nobody's gonna judge you for going all out, but you don't have to. You make lots of friends. Since it's a team game, one of the best parts is being able to work with a team. So to get involved, you miss the organizational fair unless you actually came to our booth. But we have meetings coming up October 19th through the 24th. And those are safety meetings. You have to attend those to play the game. And there will be posters around campus telling you where those are. We haven't secured the room yet. But go to those meetings and we'll answer any questions you have, and you just have to go to them to play the game in the first place, so that's a good way to start getting involved. I'm Philip Kendall, and you're watching Gentoo.
Thanks, guys. If you, your event, or your organization wants to be featured on NWIRL, you can message us on Facebook or email respawn_KNWT8@gmail.com with the subject line NWIRL. That's respawn KNWT8@gmail.com. Subject line NW_IRL. A Russian security company run by Kaspersky Labs co-founder is introducing a smartphone that prevents Google and other apps from snooping on users, seeking to capitalize on the country's tensions with the US. The Tega phone, designed by Moscow-based InfoWatch Group and named after desolated forests in Siberia, runs its own Android-based firmware that lets apps run on the device but stops them from collecting data. The phone also has a built-in agent that gives the administrator, such as a corporate IT department, control over what apps will work on the device and what content the user can access or share. Now, we'll head over to Project Delta, where bad games go to die and good games get played badly.
Hello and welcome to Project Delta. I'm your host for this episode, Nate Quick, and we brought in a very special producing friend of ours. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Brett. I produce Bearcat Update here on Channel 8. It starts off at 6 o'clock every night.
Shameless plug, I like it. So Brett, we brought you in. Why did we bring you in this week?
This week we're playing NBA 2K18, the newest game. Came out last week. Big fan.
Big fan of it already?
Yeah, played it for a couple weeks now. It's a good game. It's a solid game.
We talked a little bit about, on the show, the different, solo stuff, the new neighborhoods mode, things like that. What about the online play, or just playing, the standard multiplayer experience? What have they changed? What do you like?
So, like you said, the neighborhoods, my player in 2K is everything. So you're my player, so you could customize your own player, and you start out as a rookie, you can climb up through the ranks, and you become a star in the NBA. And then you can play online against other people, like your friends, or in previous games it was called My Park, now it's called My Neighborhoods. So it's a fun experience playing in the My Neighborhoods because you just get to play against all these people and you can see all what they've done to improve their players. And it's different from My Park because you can walk around and go buy things. I'll turn over the ball there. And you can get tattoos, go get to the hair shop and get your hair cut and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. It's new.
And the starting group for the Spurs, the defensive tandem of Green and Leonard outside.
I like the, what I've seen of it at least, I like the new features.
Yeah, they're good. My GM is another popular game mode. And now in the new one, you can sell your team. You can convince your owner to sell the team, which is interesting because normally that doesn't happen in real life. But
yeah, you would just sell your whole franchise
yeah,
away.
Exactly. And one of my buddies, he convinced his owner to sell his team, and then they moved to Seattle because he was a Sonics fan before the Sonics moved down to Oklahoma City. So he likes the Sonics. So he said he really enjoyed that feature because it allows. There you go.
Getting dunked on
by the old man Taj Gibson.
Look, I'll take it. I'll take it. Just in case anyone at home doesn't know, I am playing as the San Antonio Spurs, my favorite NBA team. And Brett, who are you representing here?
I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've had a lot of transactions this offseason trying to get better. They got a young core, and they picked up Jimmy Butler, who just shot, and then Jeff Teague, the point guard, who has the ball now. So they're a good team. They're gonna probably make the playoffs this year after a 4-year drought. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play this year in the regular season.
So how does, as both a fan and producer of sports, how does something like a 2K game relate the experience of watching or playing sports?
Well, I think it's just the control you have over the players and the competitiveness. So you can sit down with your buddies and just play 2K all night long and just be competitive all night. So it's a lot of fun. And related to producing sports, you kind of understand how to broadcast a game based on the way they broadcast a game in 2K because it's really lifelike.
So they do a really professional job
yeah,
even in the games.
Exactly. The broadcast always looks good compared to a normal broadcast.
I cannot make anything in this game.
Oops, turned the ball over 4 times, so that's probably not good.
Look, some people are just aggressive on
There we go.
defense. There it is.
Big foul there from Paul Gasol.
It's not my finest hour, I'll admit it. So how much time do you think you put into playing things like the single player, the neighborhoods, versus just the standard play?
So last year and I haven't got to play this one very much because school. That's what my mom likes to hear at least.
That should be important.
So I played it probably maybe 15 hours so far in the 2 weeks I've had it. But last year I played 3 years on my player. So you have to play all 82 games a season.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a lot. So the games I have mine set at 6 minutes per quarter. So it takes about 30 minutes to get through a game. And so it takes a while to get through a season because there's 82 games and you got to play the playoffs. And of course you're winning because it's a video game. So
is there any way that they've tried to make that kind of what it really takes to be an NBA team, that difficulty spike? Have they tried to make that at all relate, or is it still just it's a video game, you go in and you're going to stop the CPU like it's your little brother?
Well, I think they've always done a good job. So if you're playing on Hall of Fame, which is the hardest difficulty, it's going to be more difficult, of course. But the pro level and the rookie and the All-Star is pretty easy. So the Hall of Fame's a lot harder. So you don't always win the championship in Hall of Fame, but I'd say if you're playing 3 seasons, you're going to be at least a little decent because you're going to keep coming back to the game, so it's more fun.
I can imagine. So,
dang it. Tried to throw a lob to Andrew Wiggins off the backboard. Didn't work there.
So besides, what's been in the trailers and everything for the new 2K18, what's been your favorite part of playing the game?
I think the actual gameplay itself has gotten better. So they added all these new modes and stuff, and those are fun, but the actual gameplay has gotten better. So it's a lot harder to make contested shots. They give you they actually take into account how contested you are now and give it as feedback. So when you shoot, it'll tell you how close your release was to see there it says very late and smothered. So that probably wasn't the best shot to take. Yeah, there you go.
So it gives you feedback.
It gives you feedback as live. So there I was heavily contested, but I didn't think it was that bad of a shot. So, but yeah, I like the gameplay and it's smoother. I think like I said, I haven't got to play it a whole lot, but it feels smoother and feels more realistic this year than it has in the past. It's not just. There's a lot less glitches, so you don't see guys flying down the court and stuff. Where that in the past has been a problem. Like today on Twitter, I saw a guy Kevin Durant was playing against someone was playing as the Warriors. He was playing against the Thunder. Kevin Durant was giving high fives to all the Thunder players. So that's not going to happen in real life. So it's just some things like that are kind of funny.
So for a game, a series that comes out every year, you think they've been doing a pretty good job at making those improvements that they need to?
Yeah, I think so. But they also stay to their core, and they're you can tell it's still the same game at its core. It's not like they're changing a whole lot. So they get all the people coming back. And the one reason you buy the game every year is to play the online stuff. So you can't if I didn't buy it this year, I wouldn't be able to play online in 2K17 because they shut the servers down 6 months after the new game comes out.
Oh yeah.
So that'll get you to buy it every time.
Kind of the Apple treatment for you need a new one.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that exact same marketing scheme.
So in NBA 2K19, what do you want to see?
Oh, I don't know, man. I haven't gotten far enough into this one to figure out the problems yet. So I think 2K19 is going to be really fun because of the roster updates. Because this offseason coming up, there's going to be a lot of changes in the NBA. LeBron's up for a new contract. All the big guys are up for a new contract. So I think the roster updates will be really interesting and fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. Thanks, Brett, for coming out and for playing some 2K with us. Check out his show here on Channel 8. And thank you for checking out Delta this week. See you next week.
Thank you for watching Gentoo. I'm Mackenzie Doherty. Stick around for our newest segment, Talk Nerdy to Me, where we'll dive into the depths of nerd culture. Gentoo and Delta air each week, Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. And you can watch our content online at facebook.com/Gentoo8 and on KNWT's YouTube page. Hello and welcome to Talk Nerdy to Me. I'm Mackenzie Doherty and I'm here with one of our crew members, Nathaniel Cochran.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel.
Alright, so a little while ago I got really into Fallout 4. I haven't been able to play too much recently, but I know you know quite a bit about it. So what's the premise kind of behind the game? What's it about?
Well, Fallout 4 specifically, you start off as a vault dweller, frozen before the war, and then you get, before a thermonuclear war, and then you get thawed out after the thermonuclear war, and you have to hunt down somebody who did something bad to you, keeping it spoiler free. But the general premise of Fallout in, general is just post-apocalyptic survival. It's really fun. It looks pretty cool. The design of the game is retrofuturism to where things look like they're from a 1950s comic, but they actually exist in a modern day. So, they have laser guns, and they have weird-looking robots, and they have, weird-looking cars that are powered by nuclear fusion. It looks pretty cool. The game itself is interesting in that remark.
So, I'm not like super far into the game, but I do know that there are these robots that are really human-like. Explain more about those.
So those are synths. Synths are, android, human-like androids that have been sent by the Institute, the main villain of the game, to replace people and infiltrate certain organizations and other factions of the game to either keep tabs or sow disharmony, depending on what's happening in that specific area of the game.
So are there like different paths you can take at the end of the game to get different endings, or just like throughout the game, stuff like that?
There are 4 different endings in the game. There is the Minutemen ending, the Railroad ending, the Brotherhood of Steel ending, and the Institute ending. And each of those have different consequences. Certain people will hate you after you choose those endings, but hey, it's kind of life.
What's your favorite ending?
My personal favorite is one I made myself called the Railmen, where you play the railroad all the way to a certain point, and then you decide to, abandon the railroad and then just go with Minutemen as the game intended, because the Minutemen are clearly superior to all other factions in the game.
That sounds pretty interesting. Have you played through the game a lot?
I am currently on like my 27th playthrough, so yeah, a couple times.
That is quite
Yeah,
a few playthroughs. I can see why you made up your own ending for it.
I got bored.
All right. Thank you for watching Gentoo. Gentoo airs every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m.